we are then. There's 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights.
And it's lights out and away we go.
Oh, and straight away, BLT Leroy, I think, has a drive-through penalty for a jump start. My goodness me, we'll look a little bit further back down the field. Oh, we've got a huge collisions already. We can see, I think, Wicked Moss in the Red Bull hitting the wall, collecting a couple of drivers. It's looking like intermediates for the entirety of the race at the minute. A virtual safety car has been deployed already. Wow, okay, not as chaotic a start as we thought we might get, but there's certainly some expensive bits of front wing lying about the circuit. I guess one advantage of it being intermediates is that it's going to be the same tyre. Wow, look at the amount of time penalties happening here. This all happening down at the hairpin. Drivers clearly not braking early enough, understanding that it is very, very slow going through the hairpin under VSC. So many penalties, my goodness me. We are back to normal racing conditions. People starting to cut corners as well. There is a lot of penalties happening. However, is BLT Leroy going to take the drive-through on the first lap? He does. He comes into the pit lane. Callum Ultra takes the lead. VXR, Mr. Monaco, goes up into P2. Lord Vader tops it in P3. Wow, AJ! Woo! What a start!
Yeah, we've got a lot of people pitting. I mean, it's a sensible thing to do. Just get that penalty done straight away. Fix any damage that you might have had. That is always, even under normal conditions going into the hairpin lap 1, you've got to be so slow going up to the hairpin. The concertina effect there is probably the strongest it is ever anywhere
Absolutely.
around the F1 calendar.
Absolutely.
So, you do have to leave a lot of time on the table when you're approaching that hairpin, and it's obviously caught a lot of people out.
All the time, you have to leave a space, exactly as Mr. Alonso once said. Good to see you, DSJ. Callum Ultra then currently has a 1.3, 1.5 second gap here. A lot of penalties yet to be served. A few people picking them up due to hitting cars in front. Mellow Cover, a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting as well.
Yep, that was
it seems like he's got damage. Wow, he's missing half a front wing at the moment, and is cutting corners to try and make up for any lost time. He no doubt is going to be needing to jump into the pit lane now. Callum Ultra again sets the fastest lap, a 1:26.1. That range just starting to get a little bit heavier, I think. I don't think it's enough for wet tyres, absolutely not, but going to be tricky conditions on track.
It is. He's Monaco's not easy to get 39 laps of full focus at the best of times, let alone when it is mildly damp.
Absolutely, it's not the easiest. Sinister pits as well. Brand new tyres.
Twister as well.
Sawn Twister comes in to the pit lane. Indeed, indeed. It's a very tricky start for some. We can see a Blocky, Crookie and Mr. Nobody down in the near the back of the grid with a few penalties as well. The early pit stops costing a few people dearly. Oh, wow. As we see Crookie being aggressive through Sandoval. Back on board with the race leader at the minute. Callum Ultra now has almost a 3-second gap. I suppose if it does stay as intermediates through the entirety of the race, it becomes a simple one-stop strategy and can just command from the front if possible. But another safety car, if it gives the guys the advantage and gets the cars bunched up again, that's where things are going to get interesting. And let's not forget, ghosting is off. With all these pit stops, there's going to be a few cars that are going to be blue flagged. They are going to need to get out of the way We can see Redding here. It looks like he's heading into the hairpin with Callum Ultra right on his tail already on lap 4. So no doubt Redding will be looking to get out of the way. Oh, is that Luke into the wall a little bit at the hairpin? We'll have to check on his front wing and see. Redding gets out of the way. No, indeed, his car is perfectly intact. Great work from Redding. Go, it looks quite tricky through that tunnel section because, of course, the tunnel section is dry. You are going through it completely dry on intermediate tyres. Lord Vader at the MP3. Good showing from him so far. Flecky pretty close behind him in P4. This could be a good little battle between Flecky.
These top 4, these are the guys that are benefiting from doing the sensible thing. They're looking, they're just being very wary of the conditions. They're not trying to force it too much. They're just plodding around. That's how you kind of want to do it. Leroy, just before you came to me, actually, Leroy had a little bit of an issue through the hairpin, whether he took too much curve or whatever. But he's dropped quite a way back.
Yes, I can
so
see.
It's going to be a recovery drive for our championship leader.
Be intriguing to see how he gets on. Butters doing really well actually to stay up in P6 at the moment. Very impressive. He's holding well.
Kept himself clean, so we might include him as that top 4 about sort of keeping out of just being sensible, leaving more than enough space that you think you're going to need.
Absolutely, he's got Leroy's not too far in front. Wow.
Butters' teammate, Mr. Moss. Oh, snap at the top of the hill.
Just caught the end of that.
Before that big moment, he would prefer to be driving an Indy car with their aero screens with the amount of carbon fibre that Mello's been throwing at him over the last lap or so.
Oh, really? Well, this is going to be interesting. Will Mello need to pit again to fix some of the damage that is on his car? Moss just, I think, needs to bide his time. You can see the damage on Mello Cover's car. Got to be so careful through this tunnel section. So easy, just get that snap of oversteer as you go through it. And like I say, the inside of the tunnel is dry. So when you're on the intermediate tyres, it could become a problem.
You said the word, and careful is the order of the day.
100%.
There's not many of your the best overtaking opportunity around here is by the pit stops.
100%.
You can just about get away with it if you're like sort of bang alongside into turn 1 or coming into the Nouvelle chicane, but those two places generally they're taken out of consideration in the wet. So you are literally, if you're stuck behind another car, you pretty much putting your money down to the pit stop. It really doesn't take there's really not many opportunities in the wet at all.
It's tough enough in dry conditions to get by. Redding doing really well to stay out of the way of the lobby leaders. We're on board with Adam Hansen at the minute, looking towards the back. Blocky trying to chase him down, but you could just see that Mercedes just getting a little bit squirrely on the exit of Casino Square. So slow through the through the hairpin. It is so dangerous. It's slow enough in the dry, let alone in the wet. It seems Blocky has a little bit of wing damage as well. It seems the front left end plate is missing. On closer look, it is indeed. So he's going to be suffering with some understeer. Certainly using all of the track limits there. He also has a time penalty that he will be serving at some point. Obviously choosing to stay out at the minute. Ryan Wotton. Oh no, a massive crash! Oh, a massive crash. A collision between Ryan, Mr. Nobody. Oh my goodness me, at the swimming pool section, full safety car. There are cars in the middle of the racetrack. All drivers really need to go slowly here. you need to understand that during a safety car period, you've got to slow right down here on Monaco. Oh my goodness me. Wow. It seems an Alpha Tauri, I think Mr. Nobody has gone off. Man alive.
Yeah.
Mr. Nobody's car crashed out, didn't disappear. It doesn't always ghost straight away. We know that this is the case. Even more so at Monaco. This is what we're saying, guys. Driving with trepidation. As soon as that safety car comes out, you've got to be so careful. No room for error. I must admit, it seems an accident there and a few very basic mistakes happening there.
Well, unfortunately, I say you can't gamble that a car is going to disappear. You just want to slow right down and get past it if you can.
This is it. There was enough space on that left-hand side to be able to get past, but drivers still under safety car, throwing the car through there and getting caught up in some of the accidents.
Everyone's on safety car Delta. You're not going to gain anything.
Absolutely not. It's understanding that the cars are going to get thrown out into the racetrack. Certainly with the amount of practice and things that has been happening, ghosting is not on. Ghosting is not on. All drivers know this and are aware of it.
Mr. Leroy as well. So luckily it's happened on the safety car, so he is not going to lose any positions, you'd like to think, if he can get back in.
Ali Bob supporting a Storm. Wow. We knew there was going to be some safety cars, but certainly was not going to be expecting that.
No, I say I was on the verge of saying we've done well for to have no retirements yet when we got to lap sort of 5 or 6, and it's just that just shows you how quickly things can go wrong in Monaco. There's no space. Any kind of incident, you've got to be very, very careful. It has the potential to hold you up or hurt you. And by the flip of a coin is the race pivoted for the majority of the field.
Wow. Wow. Bit of carnage. Connor T, I'm sure he's sat back enjoying the racing action. Exactly, reactions need to be on point. So it seems there's a little bit of a desing as well. We're waiting for the cars to obviously come back in. Leroy, unfortunately, has had a bit of a pushback to the lobby. There's a few time penalties to be served. Whoa, Storm Twister getting a little bit squiggly. Callum Ultra's going to hold the lead. He had just made out a decent gap. But the safety car is going to come on in this lap. We'll go back up on board with Callum Ultra. He becomes the new safety car. It seems like there is a Ferrari in between Callum Ultra and the McLaren VXR. He'll need to dart out of the way, no doubt, a bit further on down the straight.
It is. It's the 12th place man, Fresh Agent.
Mr. Agent. Mr. Agent. Thought it would be. Okay, racing back underway. Now, keeping temperature in the tyres is not going to be easy. Was that VXR hitting the wall a little bit I saw there at turn 1? It seems like the car is fine. I think it might have been just a little bit of a wheel bang. But just about seems to be okay. Leroy has managed to make it back in. Currently behind. Crookie does his best to get out of the way, managing it rather well. Oh no, that looked like that could have been an accident there. Crookie really struggling to get out of the way. You've got Butters and Mello. Mello needs to understand.
Is to get through and out of the way through the tunnel.
This is it.
That's what Adrian should be doing here. Keep it right. Get off the power.
Oh no! What's happened there? Storm Twister, I think, has hit his front wing. Is that Assassin? I think trying to go slowly and get out of the way is inadvertently had Twister knock the back of him. Maybe a bit of a bad choice to get out of the way at the hairpin. This is where track position is so key. The gap already at about 2 seconds, both between Callum Ultra VXR and between VXR and Lord Vader. The gap between Leroy and Moss just dropped back a little bit. Mello's got time penalties. Storm Twister has time penalties. Crookie does as well. Just needs consistency. That is the consistency. Full map on, please. We do not show the racing map during these races. Flecky now under a second behind Lord Vader as well. Not sure if Vader's got wing damage. It doesn't look like it. But Flecky's just quietly sitting on the back of the rear wing. Needs Vader to make one mistake to make sure it happens. Looks like Shane is watching it. But no, we don't put the full race map. I can't change it. I can't do anything because I'm in spectator mode, Simon. So it cannot be done, my friend. Meadow cover now getting really close to Butters. I'm not sure if either of them have got some wing damage. Is that Callum Ultra catching them up already? Or no, it can't be. That must be Crookie.
So, no, it's Crookie.
No, it is Crookie. It is Crookie.
Just let Mello pass.
GG's letting the guys pass. It's hard work trying to find a good spot to let them pass. Agent currently P12. Leroy dropping back to P11 as he had a bit of an accident there. He's had another stop. I see. I see indeed. Adam Hansen currently P10, set to take on 1 point. He has a lot of wing damage. He now comes into the pits. Fresh set of boots and a brand new front wing. Barely a third of the way into the race. Who's sat at the race? Well, this is it's getting interesting. As I press the wrong button. My goodness me. So Adam just chilling quite nicely. He's got a fresh set of boots, a brand new front wing, about 1 second or so behind Storm Twister, who I think is struggling with a bit of front wing damage. Oh, big slide! Hang on, is that Storm Twister with hard tyres on? That is a gamble indeed. The rain has stopped, but quite clearly the gamble to go onto slick tyres is really not paying off. Adam just needs to wait for his opportunity. Wow, really spinning up the wheels there. That is a huge gamble by Storm Twister that I don't think is going to pay off. He is struggling to slow the car down. No doubt he's probably going to get another warning for track limits there. It doesn't look like the crossover period has hit. He hits the wall as well. Wow, a very, very gutsy move that I just do not think is going to pay off in any way right now. It is still far too wet. You can see the spray that is getting thrown up. My goodness me, exactly as Beezer says in the chat. A little bit too early, I think. And a DNF for Storm Twister. We can see it now on the screen. The gamble to go onto the slicks has basically ended his race. As it stands, there is not a safety car. Yellow flag in sector 1. All cars no doubt having to be careful. Another gamble onto slick tyres is Crookie. Again, the car really struggling. This is going to... this is tricky. It seems a few other cars are coming in. Fresh Agent comes in, puts on a fresh set of intermediates with a new wing. Leroy's gone on to medium tyres and got it wrong at the hairpin. There are a few gambles being taken. God, you can see the rear of the car really struggling.
Yeah, you're in a difficult patch now where it's not wet enough for inters, but it's not dry enough for slicks. So it's a case of what do? You've got to be super careful on the inters. I'd still err on the side of caution, and so I'd rather drive carefully on inters than drive carefully on mediums. Generally, with the game as well, it's an idea to keep what they do in real life. The drivers will be. Oh, they obviously have a team full of engineers that are currently watching the tyre temperatures, and the tyre temperatures are actually the best guide.
Yes.
Generally, for when to change, you'll see that the inters will get yellow and orange very, very easily, and that generally is an indication that you can go to your dry tyres.
Leroy doing the sensible thing, using the main straight to make sure he just stays out of the way some of the front runners. Callum Ultra now has built up a very nice gap in front of him. UK Assassin gets out of his way well. Still on the right tyre. You can see, although it's not raining, the amount of spray which is being kicked up is more than enough to make the intermediates viable. I can see Crookie has no front wing at the moment. He's really paying for it by being on those slick tyres. That car is going to be next to impossible to steer. Hopefully VXR can safely negotiate that. Callum Ultra, his teammate, does. Frecky, though, still very, very close behind Lord Vader, biding his time. I think he's doing the right thing, personally. I think if he can stay there, maybe wait for the crossover period and get the timing right of when to put slicks on, that might be what promotes Flecky up into the podium spots.
Yep, exactly. For those guys that have stayed out here, Moss is a little bit further away. But certainly for Callum Ultra, VXR, Vader, Flecky, it is going to come down to who makes the right call at the right time. Our bingo lord, Martin Brundle, says it well. He always says, be on the right tyre at the right time.
Exactly, Brundle bingo. K-Doptic claps a very warm welcome to you, my friend. Flecky's just dropped back a little bit. He's now got a 2-second gap. Maybe just backed off a little bit. Maybe he was just getting a little bit too close. But a few gaps are starting to form. The closest gap is most definitely between Flecky and Vader. So far we've had 6 retirements in Storm Twister, Blocky, Ryan Wootton, Mertzy, Mr. Nobody and Reading FC 20. So we've got 13 cars in the running at the minute. The 950, let's go.
We're in a very weird spot right now. Everybody is kind of just waiting for everybody else to blink first.
This is
Renault,
it.
Which is Leroy. Leroy has gone wrong at the hairpin. There's a little bit of a train behind.
He does. He's got wing damage. He's still battling. He's still battling on those medium tyres. He's got to try and make them work. Callum Ultra now, I believe, coming up behind him. He's got to be very careful here.
It's Crookie who's behind him.
Is it Crookie that's behind him?
Crookie is a lap behind Leroy. Trying to unlap himself at this point. Leroy pulls off into the escape road.
No, Crookie spins up the wheels and hits the barrier as well. But Leroy really struggling on those medium tyres and with the lack of front wing. He lets Sinister pass at a safe spot.
Not helping him either.
No, it's good driving from Leroy. Despite the medium tyres and the wing damage that he's got, he's keeping out of the way sensibly. He's going to dive into the pit lane. What tyres do you go on now? With the lines going to start drying, do you go for another set?
Yeah, I think once you've made this decision from Leroy, you can only go pitting onto another set of dry tyres.
This is what he's done. He is now onto softs. He's gone onto the soft tyres. Absolutely, Addy Bob. A nice little milestone. Now, this is where things are going to get interesting. It seems, as he comes out, there's a little bit of spray. But I think come lap 20, it's going to be pretty good for slick tyres. We can see Leroy just having to be a little bit tentative. Track's going to be greasy for a while.
It is going to be very greasy, but this is now the man that everyone's going to be looking out for. You can guarantee that you see one purple notification come up from Mr. Leroy on those soft tyres. That is going to start the dominoes.
100%.
Everybody's going to want to come in.
The minute that someone on those slick tyres lights up the timing screens, that's when you're going to know it's the right time to come on in. No doubt Jeff, the old engineers, is going to be letting them know. Crookie struggling even more. He's still on intermediates, but still hitting the wall.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Crookie and Born to Sinister go onto tyre-wise. Yellow flag in Sector 2. That is just Agent letting cars past, I believe. May even be Mr. Hansen. Mr. Hansen's just passed the pit straight. He's right on the back of a Red Bull. It looks like maybe Moss unlapping himself or Butters lapping him. Crookie and Born to Sinister both have put on brand new intermediate tyres. I'm not sure that is the decision I would have chosen. Again, everybody here literally just waiting for Mr. Leroy to set this purple notification to start everybody else. No one wants to be the first one.
Well, keeping an eye on him. He's got to work hard to keep the car out of the barriers.
Vader hasn't waited. Vader's in the pits.
Vader, is he going for it? He is. It looks like he's putting on medium tyres. A front wing change as well. Flecky and Moss now getting the jump. This will become interesting as well. Doesn't look like a lot of spray in the pit lane.
No, I'm on board with Leroy. It pretty much looks dry everywhere. One thing that is hurting these dry tyres, though, it's still very, very wet on the hairpin. Obviously, they're not going through there at a big speed.
It's greasy.
There's still a lot of water down there. And this will come down to, effectively, you're waiting for the rest of the track to be dry enough to negate the amount of time you're going to lose through an already very slow corner.
Mallow cover just clips the wall. Doesn't look like it does any damage though. Very, very lucky indeed. But he seems to have got away with it. It seems that there's quite a bit of understeer going round the hairpin now. A few others starting to go into the pits. Race control, a 3-second time penalty for Adam Hansen. Multiple warnings. Apparently maybe a little bit of a corner cut coming out of the tunnel going through the chicane. He's actually got a lot of front wing damage. Going to need to dive into the pits. Probably served the penalty, and I would assume put on a fresh of slick tyres. At lap 20, we are literally just about at the halfway mark. Can you believe it? Indeed, he does go onto the slick tyres, having to wait. It seems a lot of cars are starting to dive into the pit lane. Callum Ultra has done it as well. He's now on medium tyres, should comfortably be able to go to the end of the race, as has VXR and now Flecky. Has Flecky chosen the perfect time to stay out ahead of Vader? I think he has. Flecky has got it absolutely right. Vader's starting to get a bit racy. But no, Flecky has got the timing absolutely perfect to get the overcut. You said it, AJ, how important the overcut was at Monaco. It's worked for Flecky.
Yeah, especially when that overcut may be amplified by a drying track. If you ping the track at the right time, that can also amplify the power of that overcut. But Flecky's pulled it off to a T. But this is the closest running that people are at the moment is Vader still within a second of Flecky. This is the closest action we've got at the moment. Everybody else is kind of nice, kind of easy gaps. Everyone's kind of really spread out. Exotic pops into the chat. Yes, there were full wets on one of the cars. I think he'd run out of. I think he wanted another set of inters, but I think the game gave him wet.
Yeah.
So yeah, but Born to Sin is back in. He's back out on medium tyres. He's currently holding P8. Vader on the charge. 124.3.
Here we go then. The time for the slicks has now come. Probably still a little bit greasy on track. It's still probably going to be a little bit understeery as the cars lose that extra bit of fuel. But Flecky has made it work. He just now needs to be super consistent. It'll be interesting to see at what point. Wow, and a safety car has come out. All drivers need to be careful. A safety car is deployed. We're not quite sure why at the moment. Callum Ultra has some front wing damage.
Does. Yeah, it's very, very strange.
Maybe a
car.
No.
Stationary at all. It's very strange.
Maybe a bit of a collision with a back marker. But Callum Ultra should have enough to be able to pit, stick on some new tyres, get a wing change with the rest of the pack going slowly. He should still come out in first. Well, it's going to be close.
He might get jumped by VXR here.
It's going to be close.
He has into the lead.
Mr. Monaco goes into the lead. He will become the new safety car. He's got the tyres to go to the end. What happened with Callum Ultra there?
I didn't see it.
No, I didn't either.
He's obviously nicked a front wing somewhere.
He has.
Thought he had enough in the bank with the safety car assistance to maybe pit.
I think you had to do it. I think if there was ever an occasion to do it, I think that's UK Assassin that is one lap down as well, that is separating Callum Ultra and VXR. I think he tried to let Callum Ultra go, but obviously under safety car conditions cannot do that.
No.
As he should know.
He will have to wait for the start-finish line.
They will indeed. Obviously, during this safety car, the track's going to dry out even more, making the slicks that little bit better. Leroy comes to the chat saying it is so greasy. So it's not completely perfect conditions for slick tyres, but arguably they are the right ones to be on.
They are.
Race to forget for me, struggling with the finger.
I think a fresh set of softs would do wonders from here, because they're not going to be.
No worries, Ryan. Keep the game going, please. We obviously can't risk any desyncs, that sort of thing. Exactly. Huge battles that are happening at the minute. Obviously, the field's going to start getting a little bit more bunched up a good reset for the final few laps. We've got what, maybe 17 laps to go. Almost just about the length of a 25% race. Thereabouts. I think we've got...
What I was about to say earlier, I think if you had a fresh set of softs, maybe that you didn't use in qualifying, and maybe had them in reserve, I think they'd do very well here, because you're not going to be putting a lot of your usual amount of stress through the softs, so you may even be able to stretch them out. I don't think anybody has, though, so that's why everyone's plumping for new mediums. You're better safe than sorry. You don't really want to be defending, even at Monaco, where it is very kind of easy to kind of keep someone behind. You do not want to be going around here on very worn tyres.
Exactly. It's the restart is going to be interesting, and obviously as the track dries, DRS starts coming into play as well. So is that going to be the difference for some of the guys, certainly as they come down the start-finish straight? Obviously waiting on some of the cars. It doesn't look like the safety car is going to be in this lap. It looks like we will be going around one more time. Cars obviously got to be very careful when the safety car does choose to come in. It's obviously slams a delta onto the lead car and can cause whoever it is in P2 to kind of go into the back of it. You've got to be so careful and leave a decent amount of space. Good man, Tunable Shane. Treat yourself, my guy. Vader's pitted.
Not a long lap here. Yeah, not a long lap here, is it? But
Vader has had to pit.
Under safety car than I thought.
That's why I'm really intrigued. Vader has had to pit. He's P7. He's sort of going to be at the back. So there's a lot of cars that are kind of out of position at the minute. So the opening few laps. I didn't see what he was doing in the pit lane, but he's dropped back a few places. Maybe a little nudge from someone. Time penalties on Mello.
He has come into chat saying oops. So whether it's just a little kind of lack of concentration and just snagged something somewhere, it's very strange.
It looks like it might well have been. Oh wow, who's that behind Mello in a Ferrari, getting crazy close? It's Fresh Agent. Safety car is in this lap. Drivers really need to keep space here, otherwise there's going to be a few more penalties like we saw at the first safety car restart. Now it's up to VXR to decide when it is they go, but round Monaco it's pretty evident where it is you're going to go. Round the final corner then, puts the foot to the floor, times it nicely. I think Assassin tries to get out of the way.
Yeah, he's lifted off far too early though. He's really stick Callum Ultra up.
He has indeed. It's not worked well. It can only overtake once the safety car line hits. So Callum Ultra is now 5.9 seconds behind. That's a decent buffer to Luke to try and make count. We know Callum Ultra's got the speed. As Crookie gets out of the way, smashes his front wing, really needs to slow down and let the cars past. I think he's on the hard tyres.
This next section does not lend itself to letting people pass. His next opportunity, as we say, out of Portier, you stay right.
Absolutely.
Get well out of the throttle, let everybody get past at the entrance of the tunnel.
He does so indeed, lets the Red Bulls pass. It's so tricky under that safety car. So many cars are out of position. You're relying on the guys to be able to do things sensibly. That gap to VXR already coming down. 4.9 seconds. 4.4 seconds now. Oh my goodness me, we've got yellow flags in sector 2 and 3. We're going through everybody here just to see what might be happening. A big trail of cars behind Crookie. Needs to really just slow down on the straight, let everybody past. Looks like the order of things. He does indeed. Looks like the order of cars is starting to get a little bit more in grid order. Now Callum Ultra is a man on a mission at the minute. The gap already down to 3.5. Absolutely pure dry conditions now. The slicks really starting to warm up and grip into the circuit. Butters 2K20 gets a 5-second penalty for ignoring blue flags.
Yeah, obviously felt that there was no way he could have done that safely, but he's just passed up the opportunity we were talking about. Just keep it right out of Portier. Let everybody pass just before you get into the tunnel.
There's only a few places which is really kind of sensible to get out the way, but they are there. They do exist.
I say, unfortunately, if you do catch it at the wrong time, though, sometimes you do have to take the penalty because you force putting yourself and other people in danger.
This is it.
Sometimes you just got to take it on the chin and get the penalty if you do it safely.
Absolutely. A 1:14 from Callum Ultra, and also DRS has been enabled. That gap now down to 2 seconds, and with about 13 laps to go, I think Callum Ultra is going to fancy his chances of getting past the VXR, but Mr. Monaco himself knows how to defend. He will give the space, but certainly around Monaco knows exactly where to position the car to make sure it's done right. He's going to need to find a little bit of pace somewhere. Callum is barreling down behind him, carrying so much speed. I don't know if it's just pure confidence, but that gap is flying down. He's already going to be in DRS range here. This is where things are going to now get very interesting. We'll look behind. DRS activated.
Sorry to cut across you there, but Vader's passed Sinister a little bit into the wall out of the Nouvelle chicane, and Vader says thank you very much. He's passed another bit of carbon fibre spiralling from a car in front of him, and that's Mello. He dives straight into the pits. He's going to fix up whatever damage he has just caused. So Vader on the comeback, he is up to P5, and he's got 7 seconds now between him and Moss in fourth.
Callum Ultra is so close behind him now. His front wing is almost parked in VXR's gearbox. The problem is there's only one DRS zone here, so you've really got to make it count if you get the opportunity. My goodness me, so close.
You already alluded it to already, Mr.
It's so close.
He's so hard to pass defensively. He's very smart with where he puts his car. He knows all the opportunities around here, and he will close every single one of them off. If Callum Ultra is going to do this, he needs to wait for a mistake, or it's going to take something very special.
It's got to be perfect. It's got to be a perfect exit around the final corner, and he's got to be close enough. Even there, not quite enough to do it. VXR's bound to be feeling the pressure a little bit. We're going to stay on board with VXR. Absolutely the closest battle we have on track at the minute, and it is for the lead. Now I see a bit of traffic ahead in the Renault.
Yep.
BLT Leroy is no doubt going to... he hits the wall, does Leroy. But he'll safely get out of the way at Portier. Moves over to the right-hand side. Lets the two front runners pass. Absolutely
struggling with that finger. There's been a day to forget for him, unfortunately.
It has indeed. Has a comfortable buffer though for the championship at the moment. But Moss is in the points. He's currently P4. It's good points for both himself and his Red Bull team. But again, Flecky, both in qualifying and the race, just been quietly going about his business. Wow, big expansive move from Callum Ultra there. He is very close now. I still don't think the DRS is going to be enough.
No, it isn't.
Wow.
Quite often it isn't around here.
He's got to be very careful.
Impatient here, Callum Ultra.
He's got to be
careful.
very careful. He cannot force it to happen, or he risks taking out himself and VXR. VXR making all the right moves and defending the racing line superbly. Honestly, if anyone knows how to defend around Monaco, it's VXR.
Absolutely.
He'll be using his sensibly. Cal Ultra is just that little bit closer now. But again, to dive bomb at this corner in a league race is certainly not the right move. Not unless the car in front maybe has a little bit of a whack in the tunnel. It really has to be that start-finish straight. And it has to be absolute perfection through the final few corners. The DRS only does so much. Again, he is closer.
This is the thing BXR is doing well. He's getting all the bits he needs to right. His exits out of Portier and out of that final corner, they are on point.
How Callum Ultra is not getting warnings for potentially corner cutting. He's really, really pushing the limits at turn 1. It's what I think is giving him a bit of a jump on VXR at the minute. If he's getting warnings, it's something he's going to have to be very, very careful of indeed. Leroy's got a bit of a front row seat at the minute to what's happening in front of him.
Yeah, UK assassin well out of the way out of Portier again, textbook.
Very nicely done. You can see there Luke just keeping things sensible. Again, Callum Ultra is just cutting the corners a little bit in a bid to stay close. He's got to be really careful here, otherwise he will face getting a time penalty. Nice through there. Again, he's getting close through the Raskas. Okay, now he is very, very close. VXR, exactly, it's a perfect exit. He uses his ERS along the straight, and it is enough. He is keeping him at bay at the minute. Wow, this is special at the minute. This is a full-on race of attrition through to the line. He's keeping it clean. He's keeping it sensible. That gap is so close right now. Can VXR hold it till the very, very end? All I can think of right now is Senna versus Mansell. Senna on horrendously old tyres. Oh no! Oh, Callum Ultra has smashed up the front left of his wing, trying so hard to get past him. Again, pushing the limits on that chicane.
Coming together further back as well between UK Assassin and BLT Leroy. Heavy damage for both. I saw Leroy's front wing fly off the corner after. I think there was slight damage from Assassins, but the main bulk of the damage was hitting the wall after due to the understeer.
Goodness me. That wing damage that Callum Ultra's going to feel is going to, wow, going to dramatically impact his chances through that final chicane of final corner, I should say, of getting close enough. You can see VXR, a bit of a custom helmet, knowing he's going to be in that McLaren, driving absolutely perfectly, it must be said, hitting his apexes, using the curbs wonderfully. Just needs to keep it clean all the way to the finish. He'll know that Callum Ultra's got a little bit of damage. He himself is streaming. I'm sure he's going to be feeling the tension. I bet he is incredibly quiet. He's not one to talk much during a Monaco race. Even in an unranked lobby, he is pure concentration. And that gap between him and Callum Ultra was sitting between 1 and 2 tenths. It's now sitting more between 3 and 4. VXR just needs to rinse and repeat. This is going to be
Yep,
so
in the meantime
tough for
of all
Callum
that,
Ultra.
Leroy has pulled into the pits and retired. Obviously, doesn't
He has
fancy,
indeed.
cruising
A
around
DNF.
after another front wing change.
A DNF. Tunable Shane in the chat, crapping himself. I am not surprised, but you can see that gap now up to 0.5, 0.6. That final corner is where it's really hurting Callum Ultra's chances. The lack of downforce, it's really affecting any opportunity he has. Now we have a Haas car ahead of VXR that will need to get out of the way. I believe that is going to be Mello in P6. Hopefully he recognises that the faster cars are right behind him. Doesn't move out of the way coming out of Portier, so it's going to be hopefully along the start-finish straight that he has the chance to get out of the way. Look at this now, 0.6, 0.7. He's really pushing the track limits in a bid to stay close to him. Has he got wing damage now on the front left as well, by the looks of it? It does. He is matched the damage on the front right. He now has no end plates whatsoever on that racing point. Meanwhile, VXR has a completely clean car. We're waiting on Mello to dive out of the way, lets them both pass safely. This is going to really hurt Callum Ultra's chances now. VXR just needs to keep things sensible. Could he indeed put the first points on the board for McLaren with the prestigious Monaco GP win? 5 laps to find out. We will find out in just over 5 minutes time. This is tense. I'm feeling tense for him. I don't know about you, AJ, but I can feel it. I can feel the pressure.
There's 3 carbon copies of this battle. You've got VXR and Callum Ultra up front. Moss and Vader in exactly the same fight. For
Absolutely.
Adam Hansen is past Butters as well, but Butters clinging on. He's still within a second of Mr. Hansen.
We'll have
Mr. Vader, 4 laps younger
see.
tyres than Moss. He is all over the back of the Red Bull.
You can see he's just under a second behind Moss. Moss, in a similar vein to what VXR is doing, will just need to maintain his track position. Mellow cover comes into the pits. No doubt will end up serving his penalties as well. Comes out on a set of soft tyres. Adam Hansen a lot further back. A nice little gap to Butters with 5 laps remaining. That should be enough. Although it seems that Mr. Hansen does have damage to the front left of his car. Once we get a front on view of Butters, and it seems like Butters' car has exactly the same, so they look to be in exactly the same situation. Vader now 0.1. Oh, getting really aggressive up the hill. It's certainly not a place where you're going to mount an overtake, that's for sure. Needs to be really patient. Really does test your patience here. You've got to wait for the most opportune moment. It seems UK Assassin is ahead of them at both. Hopefully he gets out the way at Portier again. Has he done enough? He's going slowly through the tunnel. Oh no! It's all gone wrong. Assassin not slowing down enough. Moved across onto the racing line and has ruined Vader's race. That was shaping up to be a phenomenal battle, but a real rookie mistake from UK Assassin there.
Yeah,
Fresh agent.
As well. We saw him early in the race. He pulled over from Portier in what was a textbook sort of let past. Just needed the same again, and just don't know what he was thinking.
I get the feeling that might be reviewed a bit later. Not great from Mr. Assassin there. We're going to go back to the battle for the lead. It's still under a second. Callum Ultra, we know, has got superior pace to VXR. He caught him up magnificently after the second safety car. But with the wing damage that he's got, it's just neutralising him enough for VXR to stay ahead.
Mello's crashed somewhere. He's done a Rosberg.
He has indeed. He has indeed. It's sector 2, so hopefully the
that's not a pretty sight. Front right missing.
Is it? Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Really, really not good. They've just come out of the pit lane as well. Penultimate lap then. VXR has a half-a-second gap. I don't think we've ever had 2 races on the bounce where it's been this close between drivers going into the final race. Joggy Scoots 11, welcome to the channel, my friend. You join us for a very exciting last couple of laps. Just over half a second between P1 and P2 here. Has Callum Ultra got it? No, he hasn't. Up in P5.
Fix his damage. He's still kept P5. He's got a comfortable gap to Sinister.
Absolutely.
So he hasn't lost out a lot from that. But it was touch and go with 2 or 3 laps to go. Possibly could have got Moss, but I think he was relying on a mistake. I think he was destined for P5 unless that happened. So he hasn't really lost anything in all that. It's unfortunate.
Absolutely. It seems like VXR might just have enough to hold on. That gap 0.7 along the start-finish straight then. Here we go then, folks. The final lap of what has been an incredibly eventful Monaco GP. That looked like a big corner cut from Callum Ultra in a bid to try and get close. He's not been penalised for it, but my goodness me, was he pushing the limits there. I'm very surprised he's not been given something.
Got away with that. That was a huge
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Doesn't get it right on the entry there. He's going to really struggle to get the car turned round. VXR, that gap 0.7, 0.8. Just needs to keep it clean like he has done for the past 10 or so laps. Can Mr. Monaco stay true to his word and take home a win for McLaren? Yet to score points. His teammate Storm Twister, a rookie in this race. A few more corners to go. Unbelievable pressure has been put on him by Callum Ultra. Unbelievable pressure. He's kept it clean. He comes round the final corner of Raskas. DRS, everything to the line. VXR wins the Monaco GP. What an amazing drive that is from him. Callum Ultra takes P2 and Flecky has had an outstanding race as well to take P3. That is another phenomenal result for him. Wicked Moss in the Red Bull as well. Comes around the final corner. Bit of a race of his own. Takes P4 and more valuable points to his championship bid. Vader now looks like he's going to claim P5 as well, with Sinister already having crossed the line. Wow. Absolutely unbelievable.
Mello keeps a point despite crashing out a lap ago.
Amazing.
Laps in hand on Crookie and Assassin.
Wow.
That is how it is going to finish.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. We're waiting for the last car, Crookie, to come across the line. Despite many pit stops, many front wing changes, Crookie has somehow just about managed. Oh, did I speak too soon? He put it in the wall at Raskas. Nevertheless, he comes round and will finish. He will cross the line in P11. Wow.